criminal offense. To go further in depth, we're pleased to be joined first by James Morrison, a foreign correspondent and journalist for 40 years, and also by Geoffrey G. Nathan, a criminal defense attorney who successfully defended U.S. soldiers accused of international war crimes in Iraq and Afghanistan. Gentlemen, we thank you very much for being here. James, let me begin with you. With our embassies and troops on high alert around the globe, what do you expect to be the reaction in those countries that already oppose us, where perhaps some moderate factions have been supporting us?
JD, as you well know, it takes only a small spark to set off a firestorm in some of these countries. I could see demonstrations. I could anticipate attacks on embassies. I think this is a very serious threat. If you remember that this same people who put out this report, the Democrats, were blaming an obscure video for the attacks in Benghazi and in Egypt when our ambassadors were killed. So yes, I believe this is a very serious threat and could indeed create a spark that could reverberate around the world, yes.
James, you mentioned a spark perhaps prompting all this type of response. Is there any one area in the world, any one nation where you think this might happen over and above anywhere else?
I think the obvious places would be the Middle East. Now, the U.S. Embassy in Iraq is very, very secure. It's a big embassy, it's well guarded. But you have embassies in Egypt where demonstrators actually got into the embassy during the Benghazi affair when there were rioting in Cairo. So I would expect it would be the Middle East. That would be where it takes very, very little to set off a crowd. Rumors are rife. People believe rumors. They believe the worst about the United States. We are the big Satan. I could see Iran taking advantage of this. I could see ISIS taking advantage of this. Al-Qaeda most definitely. It's a great propaganda tool. After all, if we say that we use torture against them, what's to stop them from now say that they will use torture against any American that they find? And it doesn't have to be a diplomat or a soldier, just an American aid worker, as you've seen captured by ISIS and beheaded. I think this could open the door to a lot of very serious things, some repercussions.
2 minutes remaining in this segment. Geoffrey, high time that we brought you in. You've successfully defended soldiers in court before. Do you think it is possible that charges might be entertained against men and women of the CIA who were following orders and doing their jobs?
No, for precisely the reason that you say. They're following orders, they're just doing their jobs, and consequently, you could call it immune. They're acting under executive order emanating right out of the Oval Office, and consequently, it would be extremely difficult for either a United States Attorney's Office or military CID to take this matter to a grand jury and criminally prosecute those who exacted the torture upon high-level detainees.
Geoffrey, we know there will be some redactions in this executive summary, but isn't it possible that some of these people might be identified by name, and even if they don't face court action for all intents and purposes, if they're identified by name, would they not be at risk?
If they're identified by name, which I would find to be highly unusual, and if you're suggesting they're at risk for prosecution or at risk for physical harm exacted upon them, I think they're going to get some good protection. I don't think we'll have any harm on United States soil to individuals who were involved. That's my opinion.
Well, Geoffrey and James, given your areas of expertise and really what may happen later this morning, we're very pleased that you both have agreed to stay with us on into the next segment. And when we come back in the next segment, we will talk more about the impact to our institutions, to the intelligence community, and reflect this against the cauldron of political intrigue that also surrounds what transpires. There's more to come with James Morrison and Geoffrey Nathan as we continue the conversation here on America's Forum.